What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Robert Lee TV. How you doing? How you doing? Give it a chance to let everybody know. I want to do a quick show here. Like I said, I want to. I got to get my days down that I'm gonna exactly do this on. But this is gonna be not gonna be one of the long ones. 10 o'clock, so I want to get because I know some of us got to hit the flow. Some of us got doors we got to open up on our businesses. So I want to go ahead and get this one out the way. Earlier today, I made a post about the mass shooting, or I did a live about the mass shooting in Buffalo, New York. And his name, the shooter's name is Payton Garrison. I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's in the title that you can see of this. It's spelled G. His last name, first name is Payton. Middle initial is S. Last name is Garreton. It's spelled Gendron. And he's 18 years of age. And it is true that my brother Dale one put up his post today when he saw my live. He gave his comment on what I had said on my life, and I was talking about mental health, and I was using that as a segue through it because of the problems we're having. Because like I said, on January 6th, a lot of those folks that hit that Capitol building are imbalanced. You know what I'm saying? Now you had some people out there that had right good sense, but most of them folks that hit that Capitol were imbalanced. And I was talking about mental health. But I was also watching on the news, and I've been, people that know me, I keep up. I got the New York Times on my thing. I got, I see different things come up in my timeline. And there they were marching in Buffalo, New York, because, like I said before, you're going to see when his manifesto comes out. It's going to be about the blacks. It's going to be about the Jew. It's going to be about the Hispanic. In other words, he classified himself as a white supremacist. But also, it is also true. My brother Dale one, and I forgot to, like I said, his live was different from mine. But it is true that on the AR-15 they had, if you ever get a chance to, or even see it in top line, look at the very top of the AR-15. It says the word nigger on top of it. He traveled from his home location, and his target was African Americans. His intent was to kill black people. That's his intent. And like my brother Dale once said, I was talking about mental health, but my brother Dale one is right. His intent was to kill black people. Like I said, when you see his manifesto come out, because they're going to release it, it is what it is. So they're going to pay social media to release the manifesto, so you're going to be able to see it. So it's going to be the normal rant of an individual. But what I want to talk about now is how we are marching now because like I said again, just like my brother Dale one is saying, they're gonna come up with a way and this, that, and other to twist it and turn it a little bit to where, like they said, they investigate it now as a hate crime. Like I said, I agree with my brother Dale one, what he said. If you look on the top of that AR-15, the word nigger is right across the top of that AR-15. So we know it's a hate crime. You understand what I'm saying? And we can march about it. And like I said, they marched about it in New York. And one of the things that we need to understand is, if we want to see, if we don't want to see another Dylan Roof incident where you're dealing with somebody that's going to probably spend the rest of their life in prison, and families are going to be suffering because of some idiot, some imbalanced ass individual that purposely targets black people to kill. What we're going to have to do is, okay, we can march in the street, but this is one thing that's going to have to happen. If you want to see him put to death, he's going to have to go to Terre Haute, Indiana, where the death house is on the federal level, just like Terry McVeigh. And the reason why Terry McVeigh, when he did Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, um, he stayed on death row in the federal system for about 6 years, and he was executed in 2001. But the reason why he was executed, even though people were talking to noise about, they was, talking about his parents and what his parents did deal with, and Ruby, going when they was talking about him being part of Ruby Ridge and all that, it didn't matter because I believe it in that total it was 160, 680 people were injured, and I think 168 people were killed, and 60 of that 168 that were killed were children. Didn't matter to nobody. Everybody was saying, everybody rattled around and this, that, another. See, at first it was going to be a state charge, even though it was a federal building. Automatically, it's going to put it up on the federal thing. But for him to be put to death, regardless of what, he had to go up on the federal system. This is the same thing I'm saying for this man, this 18-year-old right here. It's okay for us to march. It's all right for us to be out there to sign. That's okay. But 44 million black people in the United States of America, all we need is a good 30 million of us. We don't need everybody. It's 44 million of us. We don't need everybody. What we need to do is we need to make it understood that we want him put to death. We don't want the Dylan. We don't want the Dylan Roof thing. We don't want that. We don't want that. This here is a hate crime just because of the top of the AR-15 saying nigger, his manifesto, how he felt about black people. He targeted black people, even though he killed two whites. He targeted black people because at the top of his rifle it said nigger. So we know that's a hate crime. There's no need for an investigation. We also want him put to death. Instead of us marching in the street, we don't like I said again, we marching in Buffalo, New York, but we don't need nobody getting up with the black fists and the berets on the head. We want him put to death. That's what we want. So what we're gonna have to do world, nationwide here in the United States, we're gonna need every black person to call every congressman that they got, all their senators. You gonna have to flood the attorney general's office, the DOJ. Well, the attorney general is with DOJ, but like I said, you got to flood them with emails. You got to flood them with calls. You're gonna have to sweat Biden. You're gonna have to sweat Kamala. We gonna have to make them feel the heat. We want him put to death for killing 8 black people, for targeting black. We don't want him in life afraid. We want him dead. Just like you did with Timothy McVeigh when you did the Oklahoma City bomb. We want the same result. We want the black Republicans. We want the black Democrats. We want everybody to band together instead of us marching in the street in Buffalo, New York, with some sign. Another reason to get out and enjoying the sunshine. And this that we don't need to march. Like I said, we don't need to march because everybody knows what he done. We don't need to bring no attention to that. We already know that. What we need to be doing, we need to be set. Like I said, we can start if you want to. You can start at the local level. You can start at your city mayors. You can go all the way up your state representatives, all the way up to your governors, to your congressmen, to your senators, to the president. We need to flood whenever we want him charged federally. And what we want him to go to Terre Haute, Indiana. We want him to go to the federal death house in Terre Haute, Indiana, and we want him put to death. That's what we want. That's what black folks want. Now we instead of us being in the street, another reason for us to get on camera, another reason for that we don't need another reason to go live and show us in the street march, and we don't need to be out there coming up with new slogans and spitting it into a bullhorn and this, that, and another. We need to make it understood. You put your hands on black people, you target us, you set up in the room. Yeah, yes, they're saying that, when he was younger, he made threats in his school. He was going to shoot folks up. He was going to do all these kind of things. He has a history. Okay, we understand that, just like Terry McVeigh. But that didn't bother other cultures. He killed 60 babies. He killed 168. He killed 168 people, including 60 children. Of that 168, he injured 680. They didn't care nothing about that. They didn't care. It wasn't no matter. You could talk about him being like my brother was talking about. I was talking about a different level on mental health, but I understand where my brother's coming from. We can talk about him on another level and this, but they didn't care nothing about that. They charged him, even though a domestic terrorist. They charged his ass. They sent his ass right on up there to Terre Haute, Indiana. They laid his ass on that motherfucking bed and they stuck they stuck them needles in his arm and they put his ass to death. We want the same thing for this man. We want the same thing for Payton Gernard. I think that's how I'm pronouncing that. We want the same thing for Payton, this 18-year-old white boy. That's exactly what we want. We don't need an investigation because the word nigger on the AR-15 at the top of the AR-15, the word nigger lets you know who the fuck he was targeting. It was 8 black people that were killed. The 2 white folks probably just got in the way. But like I said again, I don't. I know people gonna get mad at me saying it like that, but it is what it is. It is time for us to stop the marching. We don't need to march no more. I see somebody come in with a comment. Hold on, see what that is. Hey, Patricia, baby. Hey, how you doing? And that's what I'm saying. Instead of us in New York now marching in the street, we don't need to get in front of podiums. We don't need Al Sharpton. We don't need Benjamin Crump. We don't need none of that. What we need to do, there's 44 million black people in the United States of America. We need a good 30 million to flood the federal government to let them know y'all don't need to investigate nothing. You need to just go ahead and charge him with a hate crime, and he needs to be put to death. We don't want life sentence. You need to write him letters you need to write the letters, email, whatever you want to write, whatever it is. You need to go ahead and say we want him put to death. We don't want no life sentence. We don't, because Terry McVeigh went through the protocol. Folks said what they said about Terry McVeigh. They gave him mental health. He's suffering with this and delusions of grandeur and all. They did all that with Terry McVeigh. But you know what? They still laid Terry McVeigh on the damn bed and stuck a needle in his arm and killed him. That's exactly what they did. Okay, so we know this is what this is. There is no question. Now, I agree with my brother Delwan. There is no question about this not being a hate crime. Like my sister Wendy just said, she said, fuck March. It don't work. That's what we doing in New York now. My little sister coming here, Wendy coming here. Everybody now want to talk about they marching in New York now. They in the street with the signs and shit, and they in the streets and they got their check. We don't need that. We don't need that. Everybody knows what this man did. It's all over national news. It's all we already know. We don't need to march about that. Okay, it's like I said, Facebook, but people got it on their page. Got the streaming of him killing folks and this, that, and another. Over 50 shots were fired inside of the grocery store, and like I said, 8 black people were killed. And what he was that AR-15 at the top of the AR-15, it says nigger. That gun was for niggers in his mind. So it's a hate crime. We don't need to investigate nothing. We know what that is. It's just like if a white male goes inside of a Jewish synagogue, we know that's a hate crime. We don't even question it. Because if he goes inside the synagogue and shoot up some Jewish children, like somebody, I can't think of dude's name, he goes inside of a Jewish synagogue and shoot up children, shoot up the rabbis and this, that, and another, he was put to death. No question. We already know if you go inside of a Jewish synagogue and you shoot up Jewish children, Jewish women, Jewish men, you automatically, that man was put to death. Plain and simple. So it's the same thing with us right now. We, like I said, Instead of us marching, because everybody knows that we don't need, like I said, we don't need the bohemian activists to come out now. You know what I'm saying? We don't need the bohemian activists. We don't need the bungos. We don't need the dreads. We don't need the military. We don't need the military garb. We don't need the camouflage and coming out with fists and the signs and all that. No, 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 no. We don't need all that. What we need to do, there are 44 million black people in the United States of America. We need a good 30. We need 30 million out of that 44 million to flood the US government, let them know we want him dead. That's exactly what we want. You did it for Terry McVeigh, you did it for him. You put him to death with no question. That's why compare the two. You didn't waste no time in killing Terry McVeigh. Because why? The people were calling for it. That's what they did. So here's the situation, and I would add this on to it. Like I said, now check this out. Black folks, here's the thing. Look around you. I know some people gonna get mad at me, but you know how Robbie is. It really don't bother me. Look around you right now. You out there marching in the street. How many of your white friends with you? You know what I'm saying? You just for some people, go look at Buffalo, New York, and see who in the street. You might see a little salt dropped on the pavement there. In other words, you see a couple of specks. But how many white folks is calling for the same shit that you calling for? We don't need to play, people. We need to let it be known we want this man dead. We had the chance with Terry. We had the chance with Dylan Roof. See, we missed the chance to really hurt a police department that treated, in other words, a young man went inside of a church. People were at Bible study. He pretended like he loved Jesus too, but he got up with a 9mm and killed those people in Bible study. Then the police department took the individual to go get him a hamburger and some fries and a Coke before he went to jail, like we on a field trip somewhere. We didn't say nothing. We didn't go after the police department. We didn't push the DOJ to because we already know that's out there. That is not procedure. DOJ will tell them, but we didn't push that. We just let it go. We let Al Sharpton, we let all these so-called leaders that were given to us to tell us, hey, look, we gonna talk about it on TV and this, that, and that. Dylan Roof is gonna spend the rest of his life in prison for killing all these black people inside this church. We should stop it. This should be the thing we said no more. Stops right here. We want him dead. That's what we want. As African Americans in the United States of America, even though we don't have a hate crime bill like the Asians have, we don't have that. We don't have that. The COVID-19 hate bill, why they came out of COVID-19, because the people were saying that COVID came from China. I think they were saying came out of China and this, that, and another, and it was Asian. It's Asian, but it was coming out of China and this, that, and another, and Chinese folks were being harassed and jumped on and beat on. You came out with that. But see, that people say, well, we got the civil right. No, 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 no. We don't have that. But here's the reality. We don't have to have it. What we need to do, everybody from every state, we need to follow this trial. We need to follow this incident. And if the DOJ start dragging their feet, here it is. It just happened in May. It just happened, like I said, this past Saturday. It just happened Saturday. So we need to hear something at least about here, at least by Thanksgiving. The DOJ, there is nothing else to investigate. We give them to November. But if they come out their mouth and said this is not a hate crime, we need to go the fuck off. We need to let these people know we want him dead. There is no such thing as, because like I said, I'm going to repeat it again. When you go look at the film of showing him when he entered, before he enters, and I think it's a white male that he's killing in the parking lot. Look at the top of that AR-15. it says nigger. Okay, so that rifle, though, those that I don't know if he was shoot 7.26 or 5.56. I don't know what he was shooting out of, but it was for niggas, and he killed 8 black people. That's what he did. So we don't need to march people. We don't need to start that shit. Don't start that shit. Don't start that shit. Hey man, here's another way for me to go viral on TV. Here's another way for me to get on my local news channel. Here's another way for me to get on my local radio channel. We don't need all that. Well, we need to bring our ass off the fucking street in Buffalo. And what we need to start doing, we need to start attacking our local government, our state government, and all the way up to the federal government and let them know if this is not, we gonna cut the fuck up because we want him dead. And don't be afraid. As black people, please get out of your religious mess. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Because like I told you, I'm using the name. So when y'all go look up Terry McVeigh and you go read his story, how people were calling for his death. Because even though you had doctors and counselors and all these psychological experts said, this man, he ain't right bright, folks didn't give a damn. We wanted him dead. That's why they shipped his ass up there to Terre Haute, Indiana, and put him in the death house. And like I said, he did it in 1995. He was executed in 2021. I mean, in 2001. He was executed. So we want the same thing for this 18-year-old boy. Okay, I feel sorry for his parents. I understand they suffering, but we want him dead. That's what we want. So black people, get out the street now. We don't need to start that shit. We don't need to start that. Because everybody knows. You turn on Fox News, you turn on MSNBC, you turn on any news channel, national news channel, or even your local news channel gonna say something about it, but the national news is going to say something about it. So we already know what he did. Okay, we already know through his Facebook post and this, that, and another, and he's a self-described white supremacist. He don't like black people. He don't like Jews. He don't like immigrants, and it goes on. You'll see it in the manifesto when it come out. But the thing about it is, there's nothing to investigate. If you got a rifle, when you put him in, you pick that rifle up, and the top of that rifle said "nigga," we know exactly what that meant and who he was targeting. Because if you go in there, in them body bags, there are 8 black people in body bags. So we know who he was targeting. You understand what I'm saying? So we don't need to guess if it's a hate crime or not. What you said, Wendy? Western your black folks ain't going to stand in unity and go against these white supremacists. I understand that, baby, but I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to put it out here. That's why I tell black folks all the time. Some of the time, man, monster don't get it, man. What we need to do is go forward. Like I told you before, what needs to happen at this time. Yeah, my sister probably read 180 pages long. So when y'all get a chance to read, the dad is right there. In the manifesto, it's gonna tell you, I don't like niggas, I don't like Jews, I don't like immigrants. I'm losing my power. The white man is losing his foot. The government is fucking with. We already know this is a hate crime. There's nothing to investigate. All you need to do is get your paperwork together. But we do not want him to spend life in prison. We want him dead, just like Terry McVeigh. That's what we want as black people. Now, if you black folk, are you black folks gonna be scared to open up your mouth and say it? Because you scared that your pastor gonna get on you. You scared people gonna look at your side eye. You wishing the death. If you can wish the death on another man or be joyful for the death of it, you need to be joyful for this death. You understand what I'm saying? Because we already know, again, black people, we're being targeted. Okay? We being targeted, people. We just by way accept it. Like I told you on my lunchtime live, January the 6th. That's the underbelly, people. White America is coming. They on the way. That's not conspiracy theory. That's not that. They on the way, and they feel the, and they got some nuts. They got some crazy ass, imbalanced ass young men and older men. And don't be surprised when you see some of these imbalanced ass white females raise their head up. They're coming. So what we're gonna have to do as African Americans, we're gonna have to stop doing the march now. Because like I said, we already know what's going on. We don't need the march. We don't need Benjamin we don't need Benjamin Crump running to the black families trying to sue the top supermarket and all that old shit because you didn't have adequate security. We don't need no money chasing motherfucker. We don't need all that. We don't need that. We don't need Al Sharpton coming up talking about no. What we need to do is follow this case. We need to make sure, we need to let it be known. We want this to be classified as a hate crime. There is no need for an investigation. Once he is tried, we want the death penalty imposed because he filmed it himself. Well, you can get some lawyers, you can go, he ain't gonna plead not guilty. If he do plead not guilty, his lawyers gonna say because he ain't right bright. But again, Terry McVeigh. Terry McVeigh, they were saying Terry McVeigh had mental problems. They killed Terry McVeigh when he blew up the Oklahoma City federal building. They killed him because everybody was calling for his death. So, black people, are you gonna call for the death of this male white? Because you let Dylan Roof, Dylan Roof got passed. The police got passed what they did. You let that slide. You didn't go after, you kept buying Smith and Wessons, you kept buying Rugers. I'm trying to remember. You kept buying Smith and Wessons, you kept buying Ruger, and I think Henry was another gun maker where you saw Terry McVeigh writing out signing Skittles and shit. But some of you brothers and this, that, and another, some of you black folk, you got Smith and Wessons on your hip, you got Rugers on your hip, you got Henry rifles inside your house. But these companies here invited him in, not no individual, the actual companies invited him to fuck in to sign motherfucking Skittles. Look it up online, and you will see his ass sitting right there at a company, not at somebody's house, not at no fucking gun show, sitting right up at Smith and Wesson, at Ruger, at Henry Rifle, signing motherfucking Skittles. It's all over the internet. You let that slide. You didn't push the government. You didn't sweat Smith and Wesson. You didn't do none of that shit. You kept taking your ass in there buying Smith and Wesson. You kept taking your ass in there buying Rugers and Henry rifles. They wasn't worried about that shit. Black, like I told you, they don't worry about us black folk because we lay the fuck down. You see what I'm saying? Like I told you with Dylan Roof, you let Dylan Roof get by with the bullshit. You let the police department get by with their bullshit. And you finna do the same shit over here because here's your opportunity to do social media, to go on Instagram, to show your photo with your mouth wide the fuck open, or you got a bullhorn and you saying some damn slogan, some motherfucker, some catchy ass shit that somebody done said. We don't need to do that, people. We need to let these folks know it's 44 million black people in the United States of America. We need a good 30 million black people standing the fuck up saying, we want him charged with a hate crime and we want the death penalty on the table. We want his ass in Terre Haute, Indiana. We want his ass on that fucking gurney. We want the needles in his arm. We want his life taken. Now I know some people gonna get in their feelings about this one here. So that's why I say this is gonna be real short. There ain't no need to go on no hour or anything like this here. But it's just the truth, people. You do what people, well, Robert Lee, you saying something about people marching and they got the right, they need to sit their ass down instead of fucking marching. You need to make sure you need to follow this case. You need to follow this damn case. This needs to be considered a hate crime. You don't. Whenever we see somebody come on TV, whether they white or black, talking about an investigation, get the Department of Justice looking into it, we not sure. Let them know on that AR-15 at the top of the AR-15 it says nigga. And what does that mean? Who is he targeting? How many people got killed? So he went into the store looking for African Americans. In his mind, he went to hunt niggers. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. You gonna tell me that's not a hate crime? And we want him dead. That's what we want. We don't want no life in prison. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't do that, we come up with the next strategy. Okay, you want to play that role? We need to start pulling. Like I told you, black folks, the reason why you get treated the way that you get treated, like I told you right here in this city, we don't worry about black people because they lay down. You're not gonna do anything else, but you're not gonna boycott nothing. You ain't gonna go without nothing. You ain't gonna sacrifice nothing. You're gonna not let it be felt. We are the number one consumers in the United States of America. We start pulling our money back. Watch and see what happens. That's why everybody else within the first 100 days of this damn administration came in, you had the anti-Asian bill, crime act bill. You had the COVID-19 anti situation bill. You had all that shit to come out. Still ain't had none. You still sat around. You waited on Emmett Till. And like I said, I don't even think you still. I could, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. But I'm not for sure. You got the Emmett Till Act and you got the Florida, but still don't mean shit. Don't mean nothing because it ain't got nothing to do with. We need a bill, anti African American Crime Act bill, just like the Asians got. You put your hands on the Asian. You said you make it feel. You put it. Your ass is finna be charged federally, not on a state level. You finna be charged federally. But a black person, we got to guess. We got to figure it out. Let's figure it out for a moment. Well, Robert Lee, that's why we march it. They don't care nothing about that. Like I told you, when black folks march, it's like a little child. It's like a little child is crying. Let that child cry. Go sleep. Let him scream. Let him kick his feet up. Let him do all. He gonna get tired. He gonna get quiet. He gonna go away. Matter of fact, we gonna find something. We gonna find somebody in celebrity that's finna get a divorce. We finna find another celebrity that's going to jail or some sort of bullshit like that. They'll leave this shit alone, just like they hoping. But people, black people, do not let this get away from you. Come off of the street and start attacking this your local government, your state government, your federal government, letting them know this act in Buffalo, New York, we want that man dead. We want him charged with a hate crime and we want him put to death, just like Terry McVeigh. That's just that simple. See, because like I said, they know some of us blacks. See, when I talk about Terry McVeigh and these individuals, and I can't think of the brother name that went inside the mosque, heavy set white guy, wore glasses, this, that, another, went inside, killed all them. See, y'all see, they know black folks don't pay that no attention. But I'm like I said, I give you that name on that one there real quick because his name I can't click his name in my mind, but I can tell you about that happened in L.A. Went straight inside the Jewish temple, killed all those kids, killed some rabbis, killed some teachers. They put him to death. There wasn't no investigation, wasn't no need to look at nothing. It was out there on his social media page. He hated Jews, this, that, another. No question. Charged with a hate crime, stuck a needle in his motherfucking arm, he gone. So why is we got to figure it out when it comes to us? And you got nigger atop of a rifle. What is it? What is there to figure out? You like my sister told you, the manifesto is 180 pages long. I already know it's plenty of shit in there about niggas that he didn't like. So you tell me this ain't no what we need to investigate. What we need to do? Why can't he be put to death? You didn't say that about Terry McVeigh, even though the psychologists and all said Terry McVeigh was fucked up mentally. Didn't matter to y'all folks, did it? Y'all took his ass right up there to Terre Haute, Indiana, and you killed him. Because that's what you wanted. That's what we want. Now I know there's gonna be some black people. Robert Lee, I don't wish no death on nobody. I love Jesus. I'm a Christian. I don't want. I can't wish death on nobody. This, that, another. Let that been a black man that felt like he had cracker on his he had cracker at the top of his rifle. He had whitey on top of his rifle. What you think would happen to that black man? What do you think would happen to that black man? You see what I'm saying? And just like I told you about on my live, the brother that's in the subway, it's mighty funny. He's meant to, but they talking about the death penalty with him. Go look it up. Go look it up. Just a couple months ago, black man went up on the subway, started shooting folks there. They looked at death penalty for him. Why we got to wait? Why the fuck we got to wait? Come off of the street in Buffalo, y'all. Put the motherfucking signs down. Take the berets off, but put the bull horns down. Start sending letters. You got telephone numbers, you got text messages, you got emails, you got all this shit. Start flooding people. Start flooding it. That's what it is. And I guarantee you, when they see unification amongst black people, it's gonna scare the hell out of them. But you know what? I'm probably with my sister. I'm just putting the message out here. I know there's gonna be some people that ain't gonna do it. I already know, like my winner said, black folks ain't gonna unify. But I'm gonna see. I just want to put the message out here. Put the signs down, y'all. You take your berets off. You know what I'm saying? Put the sage down. Put all that shit down. Let's do it the right way. Let's go. Let's go right at the government. Let the government know. Black people want him dead. They want him charged with a hate crime. Because that with hate crime, that's death. It's not always life in prison. That's what we want. We don't get it, we finna start pulling our money away. Because we already, if we can't, if this 18-year-old cannot be put to death, what does that tell y'all? Just we gonna have to understand it. What does that tell y'all if he can't be put to death? If he cannot be charged with a hate crime with the word nigger on a rifle, if you got to figure that out, if you got to invest in that, like I said, everybody, I ain't gotta go through that. That's easy. You done seen his Facebook post. You done seen what he said. You got his manifesto. You got all this shit here. You got all of it. What else do we need? What else do we need? You gonna charge him on the state level? No. You didn't do that, Terry McVeigh. So we let you get away with Dylan Roof. We let you, cause see, you went and see whenever you go inside a synagogue or you go inside a temple, Muslim temple, you do something like that. That's a hate crime. But Terry McVeigh wasn't charged. I mean, Dylan Roof was not charged with a hate crime. Ain't that a religious? The church, our church, ain't considered the same as a temple or a mosque. We ours ain't. I see just regular. But let somebody, black, white, Hispanic, whatever, go inside of a Jewish temple and do the same act. Charged with a hate crime. Go inside of a Muslim temple, charged with a hate crime. But you come into a black grocery store, you come into a black church, you come into a black neighborhood. We gonna have to figure this out. We gonna have to investigate that. Black people, put the damn signs down. We have the blueprint. Let's start flooding the gut. Watch and see what will happen. See, they're not worried about you. Let them walk around with their signs. They're not worried about that. That don't move nothing. That ain't getting nothing moved at all. So this is my suggestion on this one. This is kind of short. Like I said, it's 10:45. You know what I'm saying? I just want to put this. I was going to do it on Facebook, but I said I do it on my YouTube channel and also on this one. Yeah, that's the brother's name. Payton Grandin. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's 18 years of age. He traveled miles to kill black people. Why should we guess that's a hate crime? What's there to investigate? Stop marching in the street, y'all. That ain't doing shit. Everybody know what he did. We don't need to bring attention to it. We don't need they already the attention is already there. 13 people, 13, I think it's 13 up to 13 people now are dead. We already know that. 8 of them black. We know what's on the rifle. We know what's in the manifesto. We know what he put on social media. Ain't no need to investigate nothing. Let's go on do what we have to do. That's unified. Like I said, we got 44 million black people in the United States of America. We don't need number 30. We need every state that there is to flood and say that's what we want. Just put it to you like that. If not, he gonna get charged on a state level. He probably gonna spend the rest of his life in prison. And y'all gonna walk around. This gonna be another motherfucking topic that y'all gonna talk about, like you talk about Dylan Roof and all this old kind of shit. Gonna be charged on the state level. You know what I'm saying? Get about our business, people. Learn how to put the signs down. Hit them where it hurts. Money. Hit them in their pocket. I ain't talking about start throwing rocks and burning motherfucking neighborhoods and all this shit. Let's stop that bullshit. Let's stop that. It is time for us to speak up. Like I said, we want him dead. We want him charged with a hate crime. We want him shipped up to Terre Haute, Indiana, to the death house. We want him put to death. Plain and simple. At least 30 plus million black people. Let it be known. That's all we need. We don't need everybody. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'll holler at you.